Hi guys, Ruggero here from One Foot in the Door. Today we have a very special request. So Belal Sabir asked me to review his movie Commune. Okay, so Belal was cast as the lead in this movie, which is directed by Tobias Norman and written by Laurie Duncan. And Belal asked me to have a look at this and give some feedback on his acting. So thank you so much for this, Belal. It's always a pleasure to do this, and I think it's extremely useful to do it, to review movies that are not quite the Hollywood big productions that I usually review. And I think it's very, very useful to review these because sometimes it's easier to see how things are made in a way, how things could be made maybe better, or what issues the production might have encountered, for example, if we look at smaller productions like this one. So Commune is a short movie, pretty long for a short movie, it's 33 minutes. And I think it's very clearly a passion project. Now, I don't know anything about the production, okay, and purposefully so. I wanted to keep my distance. Belal told me a couple of things about how he prepared for the role, but the only thing I know is that I couldn't find an IMDb credit for the movie nor for the director. So I assume this is someone probably quite young, probably quite at the beginning of his career. But I can totally see the passion of the whole crew, of everybody involved in doing this. So first of all, to anyone who was involved in this, well done, okay? I think we can totally see your passion, your hard work in this. So please don't take any of the following to heart, okay? Now, before we jump in, little announcement. I've got a surprise coming for you guys who are listening right now. It's a Halloween surprise, so check out at the end of the video and I'll tell you what that is, okay? So, back to Commune. Commune is the story of Johnny, who is an alcoholic and lives in a commune in London. And it's the story of his relationship with Billy, who is a young girl who just became homeless. And it's a story of how they form this unlikely friendship, if you want, and how he helps her, and in turn how she helps him eventually. So it's a nice, sweet story. As I said, it's very much a passion project. Now, first off, and I want to be brutally honest as always, I think the project in itself is very ambitious. I have a feeling it would have wanted to be a feature film in a way, and obviously they couldn't make a feature film, so they made a very long short film. It's almost like a medium length film, if that category existed. In a way, this in itself is a bit of an issue in the sense that we don't really have enough time to fall into these characters to really explore the psychology, because it's only half an hour, but at the same time, because it is a short movie, certain parts do drag a little bit. This is not, however, the main issue. I think the main issue with this is that the quality is not quite where it should be. In general, the quality varies a lot. There are some moments, literally some shots or some scenes that are really good, that I think are really good and professional. Others, however, where the quality does fall a lot, and that is quite visible. Especially the sound is pretty bad, and that's always a sign of not a good professional production. As I said, I don't mean to put anybody off. If I consider this to be a student film, I don't know if it is, but if I consider it to be a student film, I would say it's a well-made student film, okay? But I'm looking at it from a professional point of view. So what could have made this become a professional production? That would be the question. And especially, obviously, I am gonna focus on Belal's performance. By the way, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Belal, not Bilal. I'm not sure I'm saying it how it's written. So one of the main issues in terms of the acting is actually the script. The script in itself, as I said, the rest of the production is not quite where it should be for a professional production. in many things, especially the dialogue. It's quite weak at times, very expositional in other moments. And that makes it a lot harder for the actors to do a good job, because the script is 90% of the work. Almost, it's not true, but you know, acting out a very good script is much easier than acting out something that is not quite there. So that in itself makes the actors' lives much harder. On top of this, we do, I think, also have a little bit of a lack of practice. I think I just a hypothesis. It feels to me like the director didn't have much practice working with actors, refining the performance. And we'll see exactly why later on. Now, credits when it's due. Belal told me that he did some serious research and preparation for this role. He actually slept rough for a little while, and he really got to know also people who do sleep rough. And so he did, you know, he did his preparation, and you can totally tell that he did. So, you know, absolute credits where that's due. So let's start watching a few moments, okay? So we'll go from the top now. So this is one of the first scenes in the movie, and let's just jump right in.
Are you drunk?
No.
You are.
I'm not.
I can smell it on you. I can see it on you. You're swaying, John. Look at me. She's 7 months old. She's your flesh and blood. You can't even control yourself for her.
Okay, look. I had a couple of drinks, yeah? Man can have 2 beers without being drunk.
I can't do this with you anymore.
Sal.
Don't sell me. You lied to me. You swore on Mum's grave.
I'm so sorry.
No, get out.
Sally, please, I can change.
No, just get out of my house.
Sally.
Don't care. You're lying through your teeth.
So, not a huge fan of this. It feels a bit forced to me. It feels a bit standardy in a sense that people shouting at each other. It's hard to tell exactly. One of that line, for example, I can change, very cliche line. That doesn't make it necessarily unusable or fake, but there's just something that is not exactly quite there, I think. Partially might be the sounds, partially might be the fact that the voices are very divided. So line, reply, line, reply. When people argue, they don't really listen to one another. They tend to overlap more. So that can be a way to convey an argument, is to make them talk on top of each other. But again, that's something that a director should direct. Anyway, I started from here because I wanted to show you the next thing that happens.
I've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, you do. Go back to your happy family of drunks and failures at that fucking commune.
Sally, please.
Nice. I like that. I like that emotionality. I personally find it believable. I found it well acted. I find it uncomfortable to watch in the way that emotionality puts us off sometimes. You know, you find someone breaking down like that, it is jarring. The one thing I would have liked more, and I think would have made it more impactful, is if right after that moment like this, if Belal had taken a bit longer to recover, to regain control over himself. He was a bit quick doing that. He just sort of just looked up and that was it, and then he went off. Yeah, just a touch longer, moment longer, showing us a bit more of struggle before getting up, I think would have been nice. This is, I think, one of the issues in general with the acting in this movie, is that it's not bad, but it's slightly too quick, and it tends to jump some steps in the thought process or in the emotional journey of the characters, which is something that happens all the time with actors. I see happen all the time. Whenever I rehearse with actors, that's usually what they do, unless they're very, very experienced. Usually this is what happens. So people tend to skip over certain things and just move past it, which is why, as I said, I believe the director was not fully used to working with actors and to help them get a better performance out. And I can tell it from these little moments that are sort of missing, they're skipped over. And I think this might become even more obvious from the next scene, which is Billy and Johnny's first meeting. Okay.
Ah, man with class then. Why couldn't you be more like your old man?
How about you fuck off?
So they have a bit of a dialogue before this when he talks about football clubs and whatever, but the next bit is what I'm interested in.
Come on, Billy. I was only messing. Look, I'm going to show you around over the next couple of days. Help you find your feet.
No, I'll be alright.
Sure. I wasn't asking.
Okay, this is very important. And this is, I think, one of the most interesting things about analyzing Bilal's performance here. His performance, his acting is not bad. It's not terrible in any way. But it's not great. And the reason for this, I think, and I think in general, in terms of the acting in this movie, is that quite often we get actors who say lines and they keep sort of the same tone of voice. Not 100%, but it feels like they don't really... It feels like they are saying lines. It feels like they are actors repeating lines that they've been given. It doesn't feel like people just talking. And you can tell that in that moment, for example, sure. Look, nobody would say that way. There's just something there that if you listen to just the music of his voice, it feels rigid because it stays within a certain track. It can be okay, maybe he's not wanting to listen to her or whatever, but again, in real life, it would be different. There would be more of a back and forth, more of a reaction to what she's saying. There isn't. He just says the words, sure, look, and it stays sort of on the same vocal register in a way. Listen to this.
You see, we're a big family here. And despite my 3-month hiatus, I've been here the longest and you the shortest. So, let's friends then. I'm Johnny.
Can you hear how all of this little speech, it stays has the same cadence? And that's a big giveaway. Huge giveaway of the fact that these are memorized lines and not real speech, real talking. Part of it is the fact that he's never actually talking to her. He's never actually looking for a reaction from her. He just keeps powering through these lines. There could be small pauses in between all of these moments. Let's listen to this again.
Look, I'm going to show you around over the next couple of days. Help you find your feet.
No, I'll be alright.
Sure. I wasn't asking.
Next couple of days. Help you find your feet. Sure. I wasn't asking. It's all the same slightly upward inflection, which is not about the accent. Okay, you can do the accent and still sound like you're actually talking. Okay, this type of delivery is what most people do when something is not quite working. When maybe they need to rehearse more, maybe the director needs to come in more and help them, or maybe it is more practice in general. But this, I see this happening a lot, and it is a problem because if you feel it, it doesn't sound like he's actually talking to her.
You see, we're a big family here. And despite my 3-month hiatus, I've been here the longest and you the shortest. So, it's friends then? I'm Johnny.
Really?
Real pleasure.
Here we also see an issue with the script, I think. The character Billy has been well established right before this scene by the other characters telling Johnny that she is difficult, that they have been trying to connect with her, but they haven't actually managed because she's very closed off. And suddenly in a 2-minute conversation that doesn't really have that much of a back and forth, really, she's opened completely up to him. She accepts and okay, great. This is not a problem just from a screenwriting point of view, it's a problem from the acting, because how do you play that? It's not realistic that, you know, that two people just suddenly become friends that quickly. Not that they, of course, we can see that the relationship that's the thing, the relationship should develop. It doesn't really, sort of stays there. A little bit develops, but not that much in terms of the way they interact with each other. So that is, again, one of the challenges that they face here. So let's move on now to another bit later on, which I think is a very nice moment that Belal did well.
Did you not like my playing?
No, it's lovely. Thank you for your remarkable talent on that oh so in tune guitar.
No need to be jealous now that you're not the centre of attention. Are you taking it out on me that your sister threw you out again?
Fuck's sake, Wesley.
Wesley, that's bang out of order. What's your fucking issue?
No, it's fine. Have a good night, everyone.
Nice. I like that. I like that reaction. He took his time to go from one emotional state into something else, and then we see how he struggles to sound fine when he's clearly not. He didn't rush it. He didn't, I would have preferred a different shot, a better shot. I would have preferred to see his face more in this moment, but I thought that was nice. That was well acted, and he took his time. He didn't jump straight into saying no, it's fine, and then that's it. No, he really took the time to show us that it hurt, that what the guy said hurt, and that there was a reaction there. So that was very nice.
So the key thing is to engage with people, yeah? Make them smart. Sure, they'll probably ignore you, but just say things like, "Oh, love, that's a nice dress," blah, blah, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've been out before, but just not had much luck, you know?
It's all down to attitude. Just keep your head up, keep smiling, and you'll do great.
Okay, so that first section was okay. It was quite nice. He's animated, he's talking. The next bit I have more issues with.
Pop you here. It's a nice spot. I'm just going to be across the road, okay? If you need anything, that's where I'm going to be. You'll be alright.
Okay, can you hear it again? We are on this one note delivery. He says 3 things, but he's not even checking that she's listening to him. And all 3 things have the exact same intonation, the exact same color. And they're said one next to the other really quickly. it feels fake. It doesn't feel like he's actually talking to her. It feels like he's repeating lines. Listen to it again.
I'm just gonna be across the road, okay? If you need anything, that's where I'm gonna be. You'll be alright.
Cross the road, okay? If you need anything, that's where I'll be. You'll be alright. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Do you see what I'm saying? It's tricky because it's not overacted at all. You know, you can say that, well, some people talk like that and whatever, but it's just the fact that it's done a lot by a lot of characters throughout the whole movie, whole sections played like that, that makes it just not quite what it should be. Let's skip to something I like again.
Did you nearly drown your baby niece?
Told you that.
Wesley?
He's a slimy fucking rat, that man.
Why?
Okay, very nice, the fact that he's cheating for us, he's turning towards us so we can see what he's doing. That's a very nice screen acting tip, something to remember.
How?
Because of the bottle. It's the itch I'll never scratch. Ever.
You can change, John.
Nice. Brought the volume in, we feel the emotions bubbling up, but he's saying it anyway. That's nice. Very nice delivery, very nice moment there. And again, he didn't rush it. He took his time a little bit. Not too much, but we felt that change. He didn't deliver that line like he's delivered the rest. There's a change there.
Trust me.
Will I? Will I fucking ever? Look, before I come back out, I'm a blubbering mess. We should head back to the Commune. There's a meeting, so yeah.
Could you feel that difference? If we compare this section here, how he delivered all of this, it's completely different to those previous bits, isn't it? Like, think about it. Like, let's watch it again. Just listen, okay? There's two aspects to this. First of all is the emotions, which Belal is good. He's good at pain. He's doing a good job with showing that. He's very good at sharing it with us, which if we played it straight for her, we wouldn't see it, but we do because it turns to camera, and that's also great. But most importantly, listen to the music of his voice. See how many nuances, differences, changes there are in this section, and feel how much more believable and interesting it is compared to the bits we watched before.
Did you nearly drown your baby niece?
Told you that.
Wesley?
He's a slimy fucking rat, that man.
Why? How?
Because of the bottle. It's the itch I'll never scratch. Ever.
You can change, John. Trust me.
Will I? Will I fucking ever? Look, before I come back out, I'm a blubbering mess. We should head back to the Commune. There's a meeting, so yeah.
That's interesting because it shows to me that Belal is capable of giving us that very good performance. I thought that was excellent. That section there is excellent. The issue, I think, is that maybe he connects it too much with emotionality, so that when he has to just talk to someone, he's unable to give us those nuances, and he tends to get more stuck into a certain way of delivering the lines. Whereas when he has to get more emotional, suddenly something else happens. This is an issue because not all scenes will be emotional. So as an actor, you need to be able to be well-rounded, to just deliver any kind of scene with the same type of nuances, with the same type of differences, with the same type of feeling that you are really talking to someone. Let's watch it one very last scene, okay?
Relax now. Right, you're safe. I'm gonna look after you. Make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Right? He's a horrible man. Spineless and conniving.
Can we just not talk about it?
Yeah.
I want to get some sleep.
If you need anything, you know where to find me.
So can you hear how this delivery, compared to the previous one, is just slightly more, I would say fake. I would say it comes across as fake because it has the same intonation, the same lack of real communication. There is a little bit, obviously she shrugs him off and stuff, but the way he delivers these lines is like they're all the same. Remember, one big rule of thumb is this: the character doesn't know what he's gonna say. He doesn't. He just talks. In real life, we speak and we constantly react to something. So sometimes you react to what the other person does or say or doesn't say. Sometimes you react to your own thoughts, but it's something constantly different, constantly varies. And that makes the way we speak, the way we use our pitch, for example, extremely varied. It doesn't happen here. It's always a bit the same, always the same intonation. Now, why am I going on about this? First of all, because it's extremely important. It's very telling if a performance does not create this illusion that you're just talking. If we hear that you're just repeating lines that you've learned, that's a big issue. But there's another reason, and the other reason is this. I found that a lot of acting methods, acting trainings, kind of start from this assumption that if you do the training properly, then you will go on stage or get in front of a camera and magically you will give a good performance. This is the proof that it doesn't happen. Belal did some great work preparing for this role. Really, hands down, like, well done. But still, his delivery, his performance only really shines in those few moments. When he has to just talk to someone, again, he tends to go into this slightly stiff and monotone, so with the same way of speaking, so this delivery that has the same cadence all the time. And he's not the only one, by the way. I've focused on him because that's obviously he's the one who asked me to review this, but a bit all the actors tend to do this in this movie. And quite frankly, I've seen this happen all the time, guys. They're not bad actors, okay? I've seen loads of actors do it. So what can they do? So the way I like to think of performance in general, I've said this before, is this. Imagine that creating a great performance, great acting, is like going hunting with a bow and arrow. The bow is your overall training. So all the years you spent training, refining your craft, learning to access emotions, to comedic timing, all those kind of things. The arrow is the specific training you do on that specific role. So like what Belal did of, sleeping rough and just researching a lot and thinking and getting into character and all that kind of stuff. Great. But they're not enough. If you have an arrow without the tip, the sharp metal tip that actually cuts the skin and gets inside the target, right? If you only have the bow, the arrow, but not the tip, you're not that effective. And this is exactly what's happening here. It's an overall good character, well created, but when we come down to it, the specifics are not sharp enough. He's missing that tip of the arrow. The tip of the arrow techniques, the way I like to call them, are things like making sure that your delivery, the way you talk, is always believable, engaging, and varied. That you keep the audience's attention high and you always sound fully believable, again, like you're really talking to someone, but also engaging. It's knowing how to use the volume in the right way. We're talking screen acting here, it's not stage acting, so there's a completely different approach to the vocal projection. It's stuff like, again, specific to screen acting, how to cheat for the camera, how to act for different type of shots. Which he did, as if you remember that second clip when he turned to camera to share his emotions with us. That was very good screen acting, very good sharing something with us. But you know, all these kind of techniques are things that don't come from being in character for a long time as a preparation. They don't come from doing a repetition exercise from my stand. That can a little bit sometimes, but it depends. They come from studying specifically these things. A good actor can take up any piece of text, read it out loud, and make it sound good. Make it sound like you're just talking, you're just coming up with these things, even if it's the instructions on how to mount an IKEA table or whatever. That's the kind of techniques that I see most often actors nowadays lack. It used to be, I think, stuff that was taught, at least I believe it was, in the old days or whatever. Now we're so focused on emotions or getting into character and all these things, which are great. Okay, I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not enough. They're not enough. Every so often I meet actors who instinctively, by raw talent, do this automatically. So no matter what lines they have to say, they always sound spontaneous, they always sound good. And that's great. But what do you do if you're not that kind of actor? You study. You study, you practice, and you focus laser sharp on these type of things. And that, Belal, is what I recommend for you. I think you've got the rest down. You know, you're very committed. You know how to get into character. You know how to research and stuff. Now you need to sharpen your skills. Make sure that every line you say, everything, no matter how mundane or silly or meaningless it might sound, it is interesting, sharp, and always 100% believable. So I hope you'll find this helpful. Guys, I hope you all found this helpful. Now, I promised you a little Halloween surprise. So, as I promised, here it comes. For 2 weeks only from today, you can use this code right here and you get a 50% discount for my online screen acting course, Unboxing Screen Acting Volume 1. Now, Volume 1 deals exactly with these type of tip of the arrow techniques I talked about for the voice. Swear to God, I did not plan for this, okay, at all. But the reason why I did Volume 1 on these techniques is because they are extremely important. As I said, I've seen tons of actors have the same issues that I saw Belal have in this movie. And that's why I started from Volume 1, okay? So guys, if you're interested, you can check out a free lesson from my course. And as I said, for 2 weeks only, you get 50% discount if you use this code, okay? So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want me to review some bits of acting that you've done, please send them along. I'll be happy to do that. And if you have any recommendations or requests for other topics or things you want me to talk about, again, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Belal, again. And I'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.